Well, welcome to another episode of Barman Saturdays, though, to be honest, this episode is a day late. I just didn't feel up to recording this episode yesterday, not after playing Legion Wood. But instead of doing Better Off Dead, I decided to take another look at a movie from the family collection, this time taking a look at Phantom Town. There we go. Yeah. To be honest, I'm not sure why Phantom Town's even in this family collection, because it isn't really a family movie. It's a horror movie, and horror movies in general aren't something I consider to be part of a family collection sort of thing. Usually, family movies are sort of feel-good movies that really don't have much going on for them in the sort of horror mystery. And Phantom Town is a very by-the-book horror movie. It's very cliche in its approach at times. It has some decent effects, and it does start off in a way that reminds me of Are You Afraid of the Dark, so there is some sort of nostalgia going for it, ironically, because I do have some fond memories of that show, despite the fact I'm not really that much of a fan of horror. But at the same time, the ending to Phantom Town just really annoyed me, because it's like another twist ending, where after the kids supposedly get out, they find out that the cake gets sliced, and oh my gosh, it's bleeding green ooze like everything did in the Phantom Town. So they're still stuck in it, or it's followed them. You're like, does every horror movie really need to have a twist ending? It's one of the things that bugged me about the Goosebumps books when I'd read them. It's like, do you really need a twist ending? Just end it. Having the twist ending is such a, it becomes a non-twist because it's done so often that it just feels like you're expecting it. And that's the problem with Phantom Town. When you get to the ending, you almost expect, yeah, they're going to give you the twist ending. And you're like, bad form, movie. Bad form. It was too predictable and too obvious. And that's one thing you really don't want to have with a movie. You don't want to feel like it's so obvious with where it's going. I guess you can argue that sort of happens a lot with movies, because more often than not, the same stories get told over and over and over again, because they tend to be profitable and people want to cash in on other people's ideas. The problem with Phantom Town is that it just doesn't have anything all that original going for it, and it's ultimately sort of predictable with where it's going to be going anyway. Um, I also find the one of the central plot points of Phantom Town to be very questionable. Apparently, snakes in this movie's universe are immune to their own bites. I realize that this isn't exactly a scientifically clear-cut answer to this question, at least according to Wikipedia. According to some people on Yahoo Answers, snakes in most cases are immune to their own bites, and supposedly the person that offered the answer was a zookeeper, and there's different answers floating around on Google and stuff too, so I'm not sure if snakes are or aren't immune to their own bites. But when you don't have a clear-cut answer, I don't know if you should base your story around it. Not to mention how much venom would the fang itself have, considering most of the venom's in the venom sacs, I think. Which I imagine, while probably attached to the tooth, isn't the tooth itself. Or at least, I don't think it'd be inside the tooth. Maybe they are. But I guess this just goes to show that my own lack of knowledge of snakes is becoming problematic here. But the idea of just throwing a tooth would contain a lethal dose of venom that would kill anything it came into contact with is just strange to me. Not to mention this mythological monster that they have at the center of the story. You think at some point would have been bitten by a snake. I mean, it lives in a cave of all things. You think those places would be filled with potentially deadly creatures, especially when you're living out in the desert, where you got to worry about scorpions and all that stuff. So you think at some point this creature will have developed some sort of immunity to most toxins, especially when you control a bunch of humans and other things wandering around. They just get casually bitten by a snake, possibly just wanders into your town. Or can it just take over any snakes that come in? There's it scared them all off, because animals tend to be depicted as smarter than humans. I should say non-human animals, because humans are animals, but now I'm going off on many tangents, I guess. Ultimately, I guess Phantom Town is a alright kind of movie if you're looking for a corny cliche horror movie. But at the end of the day, I can't say it's my cup of tea. With that being said, until next week, see ya.